Jim, our next question, sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Eric in Rochester, Minnesota. I'm always fascinated to hear Jim speak of the behind-the-scenes aspects of wrestling. What can you tell us about how you became acquainted with the redneck racist himself, Harold Varner? Did he have any other responsibilities besides the ring crew? Did you ever consider using him as an on-screen talent? A possible feud with d.lo Brown? A Tim Horner heel turn with Harold as his manager and mouthpiece? Far be it from me to question the greatest manager and booker of all time, but you may have left money on the table with him. So, I guess it's a funny question here if you know who he's talking about. And I know who he's talking about because when I was at Smoky Mountain in 95, Harold Varner told me how he was running Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But Jim, Harold Varner, how did you become acquainted with him and who is he?
Oh, God damn it. Harold Varner was the guy that we got in the last little run of Smoky Mountain Wrestling to haul the fucking ring. And the reason we had to get him is because I've told the story before. The ring truck that Tim Horner had found for us and we had purchased, the used truck, it had gone through 2 engines and was broke down and needed a third, and we couldn't afford it. And some way or another, Harold Varner was a guy that lived over in West Knoxville that had a trailer and had been around the the outlaw shows in East Tennessee enough where he knew how to put up a ring and take it down. And somehow one of the boys, I don't know, somebody, maybe one of the local guys, maybe Tony Anthony knew him, or somehow he was brought to our attention as somebody that could carry the fucking ring because we had no truck. Okay, so how we don't do background checks on, people hauling the ring, right? So he starts using his truck and trailer to haul our ring around and stuff for TV, whatever. And that's when d.lo had come in and done a tryout at the behest of Chris Candido, who told me that I got this guy, he looks just like Ernie Ladd in New Jersey, and he's 300 pounds, and he can do all this, and you got to see him. Oh, bring him down. So I go in the locker room that day. I said, where's the guy that looks like Ernie Ladd? And I see d.lo Brown, and he was 6 feet tall instead of 6'9", and he was 340 or so then because he was a fat young boy. And he didn't look anything like Ernie Ladd. But I said, well, let's let him work. And then he worked, and then I said, I don't care whether he looks like Ernie or not, but I like him. So he moved down, and he was going to be the Gangsta's posse / stooge guy. And to make him extra money, I asked him, it's not like I ordered him to. I said, well, you want to work on the ring crew? That way you can be at every town and get a payoff, and we will put you on the card and you can work wherever possible. You'll get paid for that too, and you get some experience, but you'll be around. Yes, sir, because d.lo was all in. He wanted to go. He wanted to be in the wrestling business. What I didn't know when I just made these arrangements that one would think would be satisfactory to everybody. Old Harold Varner's 60-something years old easily then and needed help, and there's d.lo's big and strong, can carry shit, wants to be in the wrestling business. I was not aware that what d.lo told me shortly after, a while after, that Harold Varner was the biggest racist in the goddamn world and hated black people and would barely even talk to d.lo Brown like a human being. And he didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to d.lo appear ungrateful, and he didn't know that Harold Varner was there simply because we had nobody else, and I didn't give a fuck whether Harold Varner lived, died, or caught on fire as long as he got the ring there. So finally it comes to a head when one night after a show at Freedom Hall in Johnson City, I get back because I lived in Morristown, and d.lo was staying at the Smoky Mountain Flophouse, I think, in Morristown, but most of the guys lived in Knoxville. So that was a little bit farther. So I was home first, and I get a phone call from d.lo, who's on the side of the road at a gas station payphone. Harold Varner has put him he's got out of the truck on the side of Interstate 81 because they were driving back after d.lo loaded the ring up, and they're driving back, and Harold Varner's talking to him like a dog, and he said, I'm just about sick and fed up with that. You're not going to talk to me that way. And Harold Varner said, well, it's my goddamn truck, and I'm talking to you any way I want to, boy. And he said, well, then let me out of this motherfucker. And Harold pulled over and let him out, and he's a black man in East Tennessee at 1 o'clock in the morning, walking down the side of Interstate 81, holding his fucking wrestling bag. I said, God damn it, hold it. I said, stay wherever you are, and we got somebody to go and pick him up. And that was his official exit of the ring crew. I said, I'll just put you on all the shows from now on and pay you as a wrestler, and hopefully one of these days we can get this truck fixed and get rid of this goddamn hillbilly nitwit. But otherwise, just stay away from him. And that's how d.lo got on full-time as a wrestler and got points with everybody for telling Harold Varner to go fuck himself and shove his truck up his ass. I'd rather walk back from Johnson City.
One of the parts of this question that made me laugh was, did he have any other responsibilities besides the ring crew? And I mentioned that Fan Week in 95, I don't even remember how it came up, but he just started letting people know that he was behind the scenes of Smoky Mountain, one of the people in charge.
Yeah.
Did you know he was doing that stuff?
Not till afterwards, no. Yeah. What's he in charge of? Filling the fucking gas tank of the ring truck. That's what he's in charge of. And then we had to actually go and repossess the ring from him because I was going to sell it to somebody else. And he said, well, I want to buy it. I said, well, I've already made the deal. Well, I've got the ring. I said, well, it's my goddamn ring. So we took the cops to his house to repossess the fucking ring.
Well,
Harold Varner. If I'd only had a good lawyer back then.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Still to the rest.
Boy, I tell you what, if I'd have found a lamp on the beach and rubbed it and a genie appeared, I wouldn't have got a wish granted quicker than that. Folks, Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. As I mentioned, he was a sponsor of the big event that Bobby Fulton's world-class professional big-time wrestling ran in Chillicothe over the weekend. They drew 3,000 people, a sellout, turned 500 away.
wow.
And Stephen was an integral sponsor in charge of that. But also, remember we talked a while back, Brian, about the lawsuits that have been filed against Johnson & Johnson because there was asbestos in their talcum powder, in the baby powder. And now they've been found against, by the way, and now apparently they're trying to get out of paying these judgments that have been handed down against them by playing the bankruptcy court rules and et cetera that we've got in this country. But also, Stephen is anxious to take them down to the mat again because now it's been reported and found out that Johnson & Johnson, and this is an article, by the way, on the Daily Kos, dailykos.com, for those of you so inclined to look at it. Johnson & Johnson, a health product company that claims to believe good health is the foundation of vibrant lives, apparently didn't think that value system applied to those who were incarcerated more than 50 years ago. The unsealed documents show that Johnson & Johnson funded an experiment injecting dozens of mostly black prison inmates with asbestos. So the company had a point of comparison for the talc used in its baby powder. They knew 50 years ago. And they were not only they were experimenting on prisoners, injecting them with asbestos that has been found since then, since 50 years ago, to be a cancer-causing agent that was also in their baby powder, which obviously they were looking for a baseline. So anyway, if they didn't just if they had no idea about this asbestos issue, then one of the attorneys who got a $26 million judgment said, why else would they pay these people to inject asbestos into prisoners? They just picked it out of thin air. Hey, let's see about the asbestos. So Johnson & Johnson, their balls are in a vice. And they are now, as I said, they've rolled the baby powder product and associated litigation out of Johnson & Johnson and over to another company that they have created. And then 2 days after it was created, it filed for bankruptcy. And now Johnson & Johnson says they've been relieved of dealing with lawsuits over the powder because this other bankrupt company's in charge of them now. Wouldn't you know who won the pony? So, Stephen P. New and crusaders such as him are going after these pricks, and they're going to bring them down again. And that's the kind of work that he can do for you too, folks. If you've been harmed or misrepresented or lied to or cheated or hornswoggled, flim-flammed, Stephen P. New, newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. Baby powder or not, he'll shake them down for you.